Hi there! I don't even know where to begin with this video. So this one Artzooka art tutorial video has been stuck in my mind for I think almost a decade now. Now I didn't have cable whilst growing up, so I saw this episode at my cousin's house and for some reason it has been stuck in my head ever since. Like, it's essentially a core memory now. Once every year, this cat just comes into my head. Genuinely no idea what was wrong with child me's brain that it paid this much attention to that episode. So today, I am finally going to answer that calling that has been calling for, a very long time and make a cat jar lid out of dryer lint. I've planned this ahead and I have been collecting dryer lint for about 3 months now. I've got all the supplies ready, so let's watch the video and start making it. I miss watching these TV shows as a child.
It's just a jar.
This guy says jar so weirdly. I kind of like it.
A jar is just a jar. A jar is just a jar. To make my lid, I'm going to use a piece of cardboard from a box of crackers.
Piece of cardboard from a box of crackers, he said?
That I cut in the shape of a circle. With my pencil, I'll just trace the lid.
Alright, so I've cut out my cracker blocks in the circle like he recommended. And now he's just saying to cut out the edges and make it fit along the sides. So I'm gonna do that. This is actually pretty satisfying. And all done. Okay, what's next?
Now once I've made those cuts all around the cardboard and folded it down, I can tape it into place.
Okay, so now I just have to tape it into place. And I bought tape just for this video because I don't have this kind of tape at home. Don't worry, it's not wasteful because this tape is not going to go in the rubbish bin once I'm done with it. Talk about perfect fit. Okay, next.
This one fits perfectly over the jar.
Just like mine.
Now you may not believe this, but I'm going to turn this lid into a cat's face. Check this out. I cut out a piece of cardboard to look like...
I hated this about TV shows. It was so convenient for them. Like, they had staff members who would just make everything for them, but we have to go out of our way and do it ourselves. Okay, let me cut out that cat's face. I think that's close enough.
And I thought that would make a great shape for a cat's face. First, I made some eyes.
Next are the eyes, which he also has conveniently made. So let's make those. The cat's face is finally done. The process isn't that difficult, but it's certainly time consuming, I'll tell you that. We're truly making some progress as the cat face is now ready to be attached onto the jar. This does not look like a cat as of right now, but they'll get there, I hope. And now we need ears for this cat, and he's advising us to use newspaper, but I don't have newspaper, so I'm going to be using my old maths worksheets because these are just going to end up in the rubbish bin anyway.
There's no right or wrong way for this. However you think a cat's ear would look. I think an ear would go right about here. I can tape it right onto the cat's head.
The shells of the ears are attached, and now I'm just supposed to fill in these spaces with more crumpled up newspaper and then re-sellotape it.
And once that's taped into place, I want to cover the whole thing with more tape to make it more strong.
Mummifying this cat was simultaneously the hardest and most satisfying part of this whole project so far. I'm just really happy with the way this is looking so far. Adding tape to something is something that I've always just enjoyed doing. Alright, let's see what's next.
How about we paint the ears and nose with a bit of pink?
I don't have paint, but since this sellotape isn't like slippery, I think a pink marker will do fine. See, I told ya. Worked like a charm.
Okay, it's starting to look more like a cat.
It does, it is starting to look a lot more like a cat.
Now I'd like this cat to look a little bit more mangy, so I'll add a special art supply. Dryer lint.
We're finally at the part where I have to use up all of this lint.
But it will make great fur.
I love playing with lint, and this is sort of a dream come true to me. But I really do have to question the thought process of the person who came up with this idea. Like, how do you look at lint and say, oh, this would make a great cat? But also lint is a bit dusty and it might not be good for kids with allergies.
Now to add the dryer lint to my cat's head, I'll take glue and a nice soft brush and paint the glue right onto my kitty.
He used glue to stick the lint onto the cat, but I don't have liquid glue and I didn't want to buy liquid glue. So we're gonna try and see if a glue stick will work. I'm just gonna like heavily rub it on. I'm just gonna like, yeah. Yo, it worked! It's fully stuck on there, nice. I'm so glad I didn't buy liquid glue. I wonder how many people, like if any, made this at home. Imagine being a child and asking your parents for lint. Like, you know, I feel like they'd probably assume you're gonna make a mess with it, which I think if I was a child I would have made a mess with it and they would have just said no. Understandable, I guess. You guys, my camera wasn't even recording me doing the last step, and the worst part is that I didn't even notice. And that was literally the second time my camera wasn't recording. What is up with that? I really should be checking. But anyway, the last step was to add a layer of glaze on the lint with glue so that it can stay in place and be less woolly. And the glazing is meant to be done with liquid glue, but as you guys might remember, I don't have liquid glue. So I followed this tutorial on YouTube to make liquid glue out of glue stick. So I followed the tutorial, made the liquid glue, glazed my cat, let it dry for around a day, and now I present to you my cat jar lid made of dryer lint. Ta-da! A few things. So to make the liquid glue, you're supposed to really mush in the glue stick into water, but my water to glue ratio was off, so I have a few specks of glue showing up on this thing. It's not ideal. Secondly, I used water-based Crayola markers to color the eyes of the cat, meaning when I glazed it over with my liquid glue that was half made of water, one of the eyes got washed away. It looks like it's blind on one eye, but honestly I think it's kind of cool. So I'm contemplating whether or not I should like make a new one or just stick to this. It does give the cat a lot more personality. Anyway, the last thing is that after glazing it, the fluffy lint became really compressed, and you can see all of the spots that I failed to cover up with lint properly, and I don't want my cat to look like it has hair loss. So I'm just gonna use a handy dandy black marker and cover up all of those spots. Oop, I almost forgot. You also have to add whiskers. We did it! Okay, now what?